Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case is in your neck of the woods. Shout out to every single person that's tuning in from countries far and wide, near and far. I don't know what I'm saying right now, but shout out to everybody listening, not just from here in the United States, but everywhere. Shout out to everybody here in America that's listening in every state, even the ones that maybe might not like what I have to say. Maybe the things I say aren't quite as popular in your state, but you're still listening like the rebel that you are. Like the super awesome person that you are. You don't let people tell you what to think. Heck no. You go your own way. You can go your own way. Yeah, you don't want me to sing. But shout out. I'm super excited to tune in and see people from literally all over the world checking out my little old podcast. Shout out to Japan and Singapore and the UK. Coming in strong, UK. What? You guys are awesome. I can't tell you how much I appreciate people that listen to this silly thing. Like I've said before, I talk into my cell phone. I do this entire podcast talking into my cell phone. And then I upload this podcast from my cell phone. You're going to hear cars in the background. You're going to hear people. You're going to hear coyotes, crickets, birds, frogs, dogs. You're going to hear it all because I don't edit. I don't filter, I don't censor. I just upload this bad boy. You're going to hear the floors creaking in the houses that I'm in. So you're going to hear it all. And that may annoy the crap out of some of you. Some people are going to listen to my podcast and go, oh my God, I cannot stand all of that noise. That's too much. It's a distraction and it's obnoxious. And I get it. I absolutely understand that. People want quality. Here you're going to get quantity. You may not get the quality, but dang it, you're going to get quality. No, quantity. I'm going to talk, and it's going to be about a lot of things. And again, it's going to be things that you may or may not agree with. Maybe you agree with part of what I'm saying, but not fully the whole. You're not totally picking up what I'm throwing down. You're not totally smelling what I'm cooking, but you can maybe get there. You can maybe see eye to eye enough that my podcast doesn't offend you. That's amazing. I think that we all just need to get together and talk this shit out. There are many people that take to the streets and try to have discussions, not arguments, not screaming matches. They don't take to the streets to start shit. Some people do, of course. There are many people out there that just want to troll the streets and they just want to go out and try to instigate and try to start crap and be obnoxious. I'm not into that. That's not what I'm talking about. But there are people that go out and try really hard to have conversations with people that maybe they don't quite see eye to eye with. That maybe they have some disagreements and they want to find the common ground. There are a lot of videos on YouTube of groups of people that try to do this all the time, that get together and want to, I think Jubilee is one of them. They want to get people from different sides of the fence and find some common ground and have adult conversations. I shouldn't even say adult conversations because nowadays adults don't behave like adults. So I should say civilized conversations, respectful conversations. Respect. I feel like that's a word that is, well, it's not a word that's lost, but I feel like we've lost respect. Like we know the word. We understand the definition. But it doesn't seem that we apply it, It seems that we sit there and we demand respect. We want people to respect us, respect our values, respect our rights, respect our beliefs, our wants, our needs, our religion, our political point of view, our sexual orientation. Boy, do we want people to respect the crap out of that. Heck yeah. Respect me. Me, I, me. I've been doing a lot of podcasts on this lately. You'll see a theme. My theme is narcissism. My theme is lack of pride, lack of dignity, lack of respect, lack of standards. Because I think all of the above is happening. If you just go out on the streets, though, I've said this before, I want to focus on the good. I want to focus on the good people. I did a bunch of podcasts in a row where I didn't talk about politics at all. Did not touch on politics because it gets me a little fired up to talk about politics. I get fired up. But I get fired up about other things too, not just politics. I get fired up about animal rights. I get fired up about elderly care and elderly rights. Just human rights in general. I get fired up when I see bullying going on. Not a fan of bullying. I've always been one to kind of rush to the side of someone or something that I feel is being bullied. And there's a lot of that going on, but there's also a lot of good people in the world. That lifeguard that just saved that little kid, that's good. However, Spain right now is being invaded by Muslims, not good. And Spain's leader, Pedro Martinez or whatever his name is, I don't want to misquote, so the leader of Spain, I believe, is Pedro Martinez, maybe. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that, but is allowing it. And what a coincidence, what a total coinkydink that the people that are coming in all happen to be 20-something-year-old men. Men, not women, not children, not elderly men. No, not elderly men, not women of any age, not children. No. Men, only men of, in like their 20s, 30s, fighting age. Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird how people have to buy their votes? I know some people in America that had to do the same thing and allowed a lot of illegal immigration to happen for votes. There are some politicians that like to do that. There are some presidents that like to do that. And that's not good no matter who's doing it. See, again, that's the difference between, there are groups of people that find certain things okay if their party's doing it. If their party's doing schmedo, if they're schmedophiles, or if they're graping, or unaliving, or bullying, or censoring, or committing fraud, it's okay. It's okay. Turn the other cheek. And then they get the eye off the ball and they're like, well, Trump has algae. Trump has algae, though. Let's not forget about all the algae. Let's completely turn our backs on schmedophiles, on pedophilia. Let's turn our back on pedophilia and all of the hundreds of naked people flinging around their wieners and their breasts and their vajayjays in public. Let's forget about them. Shh. Don't talk about that. Let's forget about Biden talking about little kids playing with the hair on his legs and how he loves it when little kids play with the hair on his legs in pools. Shh. Quiet. We don't talk about those things. Shh. We're Democrats. We don't talk about the Democrat things that happen. Let's not mention the fact that there are more Democrats listed in the Epstein files than there are Republicans. Shh. But again, just because you're mentioned in the Epstein files, remember, people, it does not mean that you've committed a crime. Doesn't mean you've committed a crime. just because your name is mentioned. Your name can be mentioned over the silliest things, like you were invited to go to a fundraiser that Jeffrey Epstein was also maybe invited to. Doesn't mean you've committed an illegal crime, but there's still more Democrats on the list, but nobody cares. Shh, 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 shh. Nobody cares that Hillary Clinton was best friends with Giselle, Gizigaboo, whatever the fuck her name is, Maxwell. You know, Epstein's little counterpart. Nobody cares that she went to Chelsea's wedding. Shh, 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 shh. Now, don't you think if Trump invited Ghislaine Maxwell, to one of his family's weddings, don't you think that people would lose their ever-living minds? Don't answer that. It's rhetorical because it's yes. Yes, they would. Yes, they would. Yes, you would. But shh, 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 shh. We don't talk about common sense. Shh, 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 shh. No, we don't like common sense and facts. No. We're groups of people that like to call other people Nazis, even though we're the ones that hate Israel and totally believe in and support Hamas and the GoPros that they put on their head to record the beheading of innocent babies and children. We support that, but shh, 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 don't talk about that. Talk about the algae. Quick, there's algae. Let's talk about the algae. Let's talk about the White House being remodeled so that we could actually have foreign dignitaries, foreign leaders over at the White House. Because, you know, the President of the United States has a job, and their job is to have world leaders in our country to hold meetings. Our job is to have functions at the White House. And so, God forbid, Trump does what every single other mother-forking president has done and builds something that's needed, that will be used, and is a representation of America. Just like the algae being cleaned up and having the United States, having the capital of the United States, actually being proud, you know, having us be proud to have people from different countries in our capital is a good thing. We shouldn't have homeless people. We shouldn't have vandalism. We shouldn't have algae all over the reflection pool. Those things need to be cleaned up because it's a representation of our country. And who's going to respect our country if our own president doesn't? If our own citizens don't? Again, respect is a word that gets tossed around just like dignity and pride and standards and racism and Nazi. You guys, there's groups of people that throw around those words and they don't know what they mean. It's obvious that you don't know what it means because you use it incorrectly constantly. So don't say that you know what it means when you continue to use it incorrectly. You know, like the word woman or a man. Don't say that you know those terms are, what those terms mean, what those words mean when you can't define them. You make up a definition. And here's the thing. I'm going to lean close. Just because you make up a definition or you make a claim, that does not mean it's true. I know, isn't that shocking? Super shocking. I know this is crazy for some people, but just because you decide to make up a definition or change history or rewrite history or change words doesn't mean the rest of the world has to follow your definition. And it doesn't mean that Webster's dictionary has to follow your definition. It doesn't mean that ChatGPT and AI has to follow your definition. Because you don't get to just make up claims and make up words and then decide that the whole rest of the land, the rest of the universe revolves around your definition of things. Because again, that makes you a narcissist. And then you want to say that that Republicans somehow are in a cult. Oh, do you mean the same cult that followed very blindly and got vaccinated without knowing at all what the side effects were? You just followed blindly and got vaccinated. because your leader forced you to do it. You mean like when Biden forced vaccinations and forced masks and forced 6 feet away, forced social distancing? Oh, do you mean like when Biden had the National Guard out on the streets forcing people to stay in? You mean government, Democratic governors forcing people to stay inside? Forcing people to stay away from their dying loved ones, forcing dying loved ones away from their family. Do you mean like that? You mean that kind of a dictator? Oh. Do you mean like Obamacare? When Obama forced Obamacare and you got fined, I know because I got fined. You got fined, I'm going to say it again, fined if you didn't get rid of the health care that you already have that's better, cheaper, better for your family, cheaper for your family, or maybe that you don't even have to pay for. You have to get rid of it. And you're forced to have shitty insurance in which it takes 8 months to get into a doctor and you don't even get to choose your doctor. Do you mean like that? Oh, but shh. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about facts. Shh. We keep facts and hypocrisy, we keep that locked deep inside until we decide to go out and assassinate everybody. Because we're so batshit crazy, we can't handle life. We handle life by assassination. We got to assassinate. We got to bully. We got to beat up. We got to silence. Shh. But not us, though. We don't silence ourselves. We're the loudest motherfuckers you will ever meet. We don't get silenced. How dare you silence us, but we will assassinate the fuck out of you if you say a single thing we disagree with. We will be nurses that will poison you. We will be nurses that will make you violently sick because if you so much as have a different opinion than me, we're going to assassinate you. But we're in a cult. You're assassinating, poisoning, bullying, firing, censoring people that disagree with you. But Republicans are in a cult? We're Nazis, but you hate Israel and you're for genocide and you're pro-Hamas and the Iranian regime and Palestine. But we're Nazis? Gosh, that is so interesting. Thank you for enlightening me on your interesting points of view. Shh. We don't talk about common sense. We don't talk about things that make sense. We don't talk about our hypocrisies. We just talk about me, I, me, I love me. I love me, myself, and I. I love all things to talk about me. I care about followers and how many followers I have, but yet I talk about everybody else being in a cult. So how do you talk about everybody being in a cult when your biggest concern in life, I had someone tell me, why am I going to listen to you? You have under 300 followers. Why would I listen to you? So that's what the world has become now. Nobody listens unless you have a certain amount of followers. So you're a dictator? So you're a cult leader. You're a cult leader because you want followers, and you're going to call me a cult leader. Shh. We don't talk about common sense and facts and things that are logical. Shh. How dare you, Courtney, talk about logical thing? I called you a cult member. You're a cult member. Okay, and then when I ask people, can you please give me examples of me being in a cult? What are things that Donald Trump has forced the American public to do? What are things that Donald Trump has forced the American public to do? Oh, shh. Don't answer that because the answer's nothing and we don't want to say that because that'll blow our cover. Shh. We don't want our cover blown. We're morons. We're morons. Shh, don't tell anybody. Well, the cat's out of the bag. We all know you're a moron. The cat's out of the bag. I'm sorry. Now, if any of this offends you, it's because you don't like facts, or you're uneducated, or you're ignorant, or you're intolerant. or you're offended easily, and that's a you problem. But none of this should offend you because it's things that you believe in. Why are your beliefs offending you? I am just reciting and regurgitating what you guys preach. I'm saying what you guys are saying. So you can't find it offensive because it's your beliefs. I am reciting your beliefs. I'm reciting the things that are said to me on my posts and my comments for the past 4 years now. For 4 years, these are the things that groups of people are saying to me, and then you guys are going to say that I am lying. These are words out of your mouth. Read the comments on my videos. You don't get to say I'm lying when you say it. You don't get to say I'm an idiot because I'm pointing out your words. So you're calling yourselves an idiot, which I agree with. That is something we can both agree on. There we go. We both agree that you're spewing hypocrisy, lies, propaganda, claims, accusations, and idiocracy. You're right. Because if you have a problem with my videos, and my podcast, I am stating your beliefs. These aren't things I'm saying. I don't see how you can have a problem with me reciting your beliefs back to you. And then when I ask people to prove me wrong, they're like, well, Trump is an asshole. Okay, that doesn't prove me wrong, and that doesn't prove you correct. Oh, well, MAGA is a cult. Okay, that doesn't prove me wrong, and that doesn't prove you correct. I asked for you to, those that make the claim are the ones that are supposed to be backing up their claim. I didn't make a claim. You make a claim. So when you make a claim, you need to be able to back it up. See, I don't post videos or make podcasts of things that I can't support, unless I'm telling you it's my opinion. So it's interesting. People are fascinating. And this is why I haven't done a political thing in a long time. I get a little fired up. I lose listeners. People are like, oh, I'm out. She's going off again. She's on one again. She gets fired up and worked up. You're right. I get fired up and worked up because it affects me. These things affect me. You don't get fired up and worked up because none of it affects your life. You receive all of the benefits. So if you're receiving all the benefits and you have no consequences and you have no accountability, of course you're okay with everything being your version of equality. Equality to certain groups of people means that groups of people get all of the rewards, all of the benefits, have zero accountability, have zero consequences, and the rest of the world takes on the rest. They take on all of the work, all of the hard work, all of the taxes. They don't get free anything. They are living in the ghetto. They're living poor. They're stressed, they have ulcers, and they don't get the health care that you get to fix those ulcers. And they don't get to have the food that you get to where we can be fat. Lazy people are fat. Well, I'm not saying if you're fat, you're lazy. I'm saying that if you are fat, don't fucking complain about not having food stamps or not having food. Because I'm sorry, it's a fact. It is a fact. If you are obese, you're not starving. I love how there's a commercial that used to be like, you can't tell when someone's starving. You can't tell when someone's starving. I can tell you when someone isn't starving. I can tell you that. I can tell you that fat people are not starving, and I'm not going to feel sorry for a fat person not having food stamps. It seems to me food stamps are your entire reason that you're fucking fat. And maybe food stamps are the entire reason that you're not working and getting off your ass. And maybe if you had a job, you wouldn't need food stamps and you wouldn't be obese. Sorry, not sorry. This is just actually something that needs to be said. If you are obese, there's a reason you're obese. Now, I'm not saying you're a bad person if you're obese. Not calling obese people bad. Not even calling obese people lazy as in I think they got there because they're lazy. But now they're lazy, obviously, because they have to be. They don't really have a choice because you can't move around a lot. However, you do have a choice. You can move as well as you can move. You start out small. You start out doing very, very little things that you are capable of doing, and you start out eating less. And I don't think that my food stamps should go to obese people. I think that that's the entire problem. They're allowed to have the government pay for all of their shit food that they're eating. And then because they're eating shit food, now they get free health care. And then that free health care means that I'm paying for these people when they have heart attacks, when they have diabetes. I'm paying for their insulin. I am paying for their insulin. I'm paying for them to keep going to the doctor more than healthy people. And then because of these type of people, and because of people that claim they're disabled that aren't, that's jacking up prices. That jacks up healthcare prices. That jacks up everything in the ER. It jacks up all of our prescriptions, and it jacks up the cost of everything. Why? Because we have obese people that don't take care of themselves, who constantly have kidney issues, diabetic issues, heart issues, all kinds of issues that they have to constantly go to the doctor for, way more than people that actually take care of themselves. And so the people that actually take care of themselves are paying an absorbent amount of money for the lazy people that refuse to work and want this free healthcare that's free to them but not to anybody else. And so it's a whole thing. If you're listening and you're obese, I'm not sorry, and I'm not going to apologize because it's the truth. Again, I'm not saying you're a bad person, not saying you're ugly, not saying you deserve, death or something. Didn't say any of those things, so don't fucking put words in my mouth. I'm the wrong goddamn person. Do not put words in my mouth. Not saying that you're not worth living, that you're not a good person, that you're not a good human, or that you're ugly. I am calling you lazy because it took laziness. It took laziness to get to where you are. People are going to go, I was depressed or I broke my back. Okay, depression's sad. Depression's very sad. And I realize that when you get depressed, you lose a lot of interest in, going on walks, in caring for yourself. Therefore, you can gain a lot of weight when you're depressed. And I'm sorry, and that's horrible and that's sad. And depression is a real thing. I know, I've suffered it. But these things lead to then being lazy. Depression leads to being lazy. Depression is sad. Depression is something people should seek help for. Depression is something I feel sorry for people. It's a real thing, not taking away from it. But sometimes it leads to laziness, not wanting to get up, not wanting to do something, not being motivated, losing your motivation. Losing your motivation can cause laziness, which can cause you to eat more, which can cause you to gain weight. Or if you hurt your back, maybe now you've had surgeries and it's hard for you to get around and it's hard for you to work. It's hard for you to be mobile. It's not hard, but that doesn't take away your ability to eat healthier though. Your brain isn't different. You can still make choices. You can still, even though it's difficult, you can still exercise. Even though it's hard, even though it's difficult, you can still exercise. And even though you may have hurt your back and maybe you're taking prescriptions, maybe your appetite is suppressed and maybe it's hard and difficult, but you can make good choices. Just because things are hard and difficult, people are like, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's hard. It's hard. 5% of the population has something where it's very, very difficult for them to lose weight. Okay, first of all, it's like 2%. I've talked to many doctors and I've looked it up. It's like 2% of the population have a real, actual thing that makes it really difficult for them to lose weight. Not impossible, though. Not impossible. The lottery is really, really difficult to win. The odds of winning the lottery are so astronomical. Yet, the odds of you having a condition in which it's really hard for you to lose weight, about 2%. And hard to lose weight, difficult, really difficult, doesn't mean impossible. So people have choices. And because people make poor choices, other people have to suffer, just like car accidents. Unfortunately, they say that, men drive worse because they drive fast, or they get in more car accidents because they drive fast. So because of men, insurance for men and how they drive has gone up. I'm not claiming that women are good drivers. I'm not claiming that men are worse drivers. The insurance company is. I'm not saying it. The insurance company has deemed men being worse drivers, therefore, and also in poorer health, have to have worse health than women. Therefore, health insurance and car insurance is more expensive. According to insurance company, I'm not saying that this, insurance companies are. So we have to pay the price for other people's crap, and that is bullshit. And because of this quote, quote, free health care that lazy people get, again, I'm all for welfare if you're a genuine person trying to work and you are working and you're struggling to get by because maybe you're a single parent, maybe you're two parents and one has to stay home to watch the kids because taking your kids to preschool or to daycare is incredibly expensive, and daycares nowadays are not very trustworthy. So maybe you want to protect your kids and you want to keep your kids home and you want one parent to stay home while the other works. I'm all about welfare for those scenarios. I'm all about welfare for people that actually are working and trying and using that welfare as a step to help themselves. Nothing wrong with that. Never said I had anything wrong with that because I don't. I've had to use it. So I'm not a hypocrite. I've had to use it as a leg up. Not on it now. Haven't been on it in a million years. But I've had to use it when I was a single mom, going to school full time and working full time with two kids. So yeah, I used it as a leg up. And then once I no longer qualified, I no longer qualified. And my goal was to no longer qualify for assistance. That's what people's goals should be. Wouldn't you think you would want your goal to be to not be on assistance? But again, this goes back to standards, pride, and dignity, which people don't seem to have. People no longer have pride in themselves, unless, of course, they're sexual predators. Well, then they're really proud to make a video all about being a sexual predator. They love being naked around children on bicycles. They love having gag balls in their mouth, wearing assless chaps and leather crap that shows off their bodies in a sexual prerogative way. Boy, they're proud. Super proud to run the streets and do videos about that. Proud to be on the welfare for years and years and not even trying to get a job. Super proud. Woo, yeah. Raise your glass to that. But God forbid you pride yourself on being respectful or not a schmedophile or, having clothes on and having some dignity. No, boo to that. We abort kids. You said it. I didn't say it. That is what the Democrat Party believes in, aborting children, sex trafficking, MAPS, minor attracted persons. Remember, they made a flag and everything. They love Biden playing with hair on kids' legs and the kids playing with the hair on their legs, sniffing kids, showering with his daughter. You guys are like, woo, yeah. But boo on algae. Boo. See what I'm saying? Yep, it's another politically charged podcast. Sorry, guys, I go up and down. Like I said, I do podcasts where I'm talking politics. I do podcasts where I'm talking family and love and relationships and dogs and jobs and all of that. And like I said, I went for a really long time not talking politics. But now we've got Spain being invaded by Muslims and people being like, yeah, more Muslims shouting Allah Akbar. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? So that's cool. Let's just keep letting those people in. Yeah, it seems like it's going real well, guys. Crazy. Sorry, you're hearing floorboards creak because I'm pacing, because I'm fired up. Anyway, okay, I am going to take a break. My next couple, if you're not liking this political stuff and it's too much for you, first of all, you can listen to my other episodes. There are many, many other episodes where I'm not talking politics. And I'm going to make it a mission that my next couple of podcasts are not going to be politically charged at all. Not even talk about politics. Not even going to bring it up. Zip, zip, zip. Lock it up. Not talking about it. Not even going to talk politics on my next couple of politics, or my next couple of episodes. Goodness, I Biden and Kamala it out there for a second. But beep, 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 beep. That's all, folks. So, thank you for hanging in. If you're still listening, you're a badass mofo. If you're still listening, you have certified yourself as a rebel, as an adult that can listen to other points of view. You have solidified yourself as a normal human that can handle life, can handle when people have different points of view. I'm not saying this condescending or sarcastic. I'm saying this serious. People that can handle my podcast are badass mofos. When I'm talking politics and I'm going off and you haven't tuned me out and you're still here with me, you're fucking rad. You deserve a lot. I hope people are kind to you today. Thank you so much for listening. I genuinely can't tell you how much I appreciate every single person, whether it's your first time listening to my podcast, somewhere in the middle, or you've been with me since the beginning. I wish I could shout out to every single person. Like I said, Singapore, Japan, and America. Man, you guys have been just with me since the beginning. I mean, I say America, and there's a million states in America, but thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And not just those countries. Like I said, shout out to every single country, every human out there. And I just want to stress one more time, I genuinely don't care what you identify as. I do not. I really don't. I don't care what your color is. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what you identify as. I don't care what your political affiliation is. I really don't. Like I've said 1,000 times, I judge people on if they're an asshole or not. I judge people how respectful they are, if they're a hypocrite, if they have double standards, if they are kind, if they're accepting. That's what I judge people on, not at all by their political. So again, I really need to I need to stop saying Democrats this, because Republicans are just as shady. There are a ton of Republicans that are shady motherfuckers, and I don't think that Trump is perfect. I think he can be a jackass and pompous a lot. I think he puts his foot in his mouth a lot. I've said this so many times. I do not think anyone's perfect. I'm going to say that on every podcast. Nobody is perfect. I don't think everybody's perfect, including Republicans. So you can be from all political parties, and you are welcome. But you're going to hear stuff. I'm going to make fun of America. I'm going to make fun of Oregonians. I'm going to make fun of straight people, white people, Republicans. I'm going to make fun of fat people, short people, brown people, Christians, Catholics, atheists, Democrats, liberals, woke people, non-woke people. You see what I'm saying? I'm an equal opportunity person. I judge people by being people. So you may get offended. Who knows? But like I said, if you get offended and you still listen to my podcast, then that makes you one freaking tricky motherfucker. Motherfucker. I don't know why I said that. I don't really know why I said that. I regret it now. But anyway, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Remember, control the things you can. Don't even bother. Don't try. Don't miss a single second wasted on controlling things that you cannot control. Focus on the things you can. Remember to breathe slowly in through your nose and let it out slowly through your mouth. And until next time.